As far as business is concerned, you have to remember you're going to get two types of questions in your exam. You could get one specifically on business. You could get one that asks you to compare Kant and utilitarianism to business. Whatever happens, if you get a general question in the exam that's something like, there is no such thing as ethics in business discussed, you need to bring in one of your arguments. You cannot do a whole essay on that without bringing in either Kant or utilitarianism. You do not need to bring in natural law and situation ethics. They have euthanasia. This is just for Kant and utilitarianism. Students are not big fans of business ethics. I don't know why, because all this is buzzwords. Once you've got the buzzwords, you've got this topic down, and it's actually very, very relevant to all of you, so it's a really good one to do. So, top box, it's split into two. The first part is just for the Henry Ford quote, please. A business that makes nothing but money is a poor kind of business. So that goes in the little part of the top first box. A business that makes nothing but money is a poor kind of business. Henry Ford. In the part connected with this, you can then outline the Ford Pinto case. You, of course, don't need to write all of that. You wouldn't even need to win an exam. The outline of the story is in 1970, so we're not talking that long ago. Many of you now in your families might drive Ford cars, for example. Ford Pinto, when they were manufacturing it, they found a design fault. That meant if the car was impacted in the rear end in a collision at 20 miles per hour or more, the gas tank broke, therefore causing fuel to leak and essentially fires to happen. Rather than Ford Pinto changing the design, they worked out and calculated the cost of the deaths that might be incurred versus the price of changing all the cars. What they found out, and the lorries, what they found out that if they were fined for 180 burn deaths of 200,000, 180 burn injuries and 2,100 burnt vehicles. So they're working out people dying because of their car versus changing all the vehicles. It would only cost them 49.5 million to help people that died or be burned versus 137.5 million to change them all. What did they decide? Because it wasn't law, because they didn't have to, they didn't change the car, even though they also had the patent for a safer gas tank. So they couldn't even use the excuse of, we didn't have an alternative. They did. They had an alternative gas tank. They found it, but because it would cost them more, they didn't change it. It then later became legal that if you ever find a fault like this, you have to change it. At this time, it was not law, so they didn't bother. All right, box underneath is split into two. One side for Dame Anita Roddick, the other side for Lord Alan Sugar. This box questions the idea of, is ethics, or is it good business to be ethical? And the word oxymoron means these two words that don't go together, like a cold fire. Good, ethical business. Does ethical business really go together? Is there such a thing as being ethical? Dame Anita Roddick obviously established Body Shop. She promoted and looked at the idea of animal care and not testing on animals. She says being good is good business. So this could be argued for being more intrinsic reasons. Intrinsic because it's the right thing to do. So intrinsic reasons, you can judge your business on these as to whether you think they do it because it's the right thing to do, or is it because they want to look good, like Alan Sugar. So Lord Alan Sugar says this quote, "Are you the cheap one, the one with good service, the ethical or bespoke one? What's your hook?" What he's arguing there is being ethical is just your hook into business. So what he would argue is companies like Lush, it's just really good business. to not be animal testing. They're the ethical one, that's why they get customers in.